So last class we have discussed the chemical control and coordination. Is there any doubt from the that chapter? Last chapter, that is chemical control and coordination. Chemical coordination, endocrine glands. Okay. And again, we don't have any doubts. So last class I discussed that about control and coordination, right? That every organ or every single thing in your body needs to coordinate in order to work. So under control and coordination there are two systems. So first system was chemical control and coordination, that was discussed the last chapter, that is chemical control and coordination. Chemical is the hormones, right? So chemical control and coordination, that is done. So next system is neural control and coordination. This is a completely separate chapter. Okay, the neural control and coordination. Okay. So neural control and coordination, everything is done by the nerves. Okay, nerves, the what to say, the neuron, this brain, spinal cord, all those they form the neural system. Okay, human neural system or human nervous system, same thing. Neural system and nervous system is the same thing. Okay, so human nervous system or human neural system, it comprises of like or the what to say neural control and coordination. It comprises of the activities of the brain, the spinal cord, and all the nerves. Okay, all the neurons. So the human neural system, it comprises of two parts. It is divided into two types or two parts. That is, one is central nervous system or central neural or nervous. Okay, same thing, neural or nervous. So two parts are central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system or central neural system is also known as, in short, you can say CNS, and peripheral nervous system or peripheral neural system is, in short, we can name it as PNS. Okay, so the CNS, that is the central nervous system, it comprises of the brain and spinal cord. Just remember that, okay? That the CNS, that is the central nervous system, it comprises of the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, spinal cord, all of you know the spinal cord, spine, right? Brain, all of you know, and the spine. Brain and the spine, it comprises, it is included under central nervous system. Okay, and the peripheral nervous system comprises of nerves, all the nerves in your body, all the nerves. It is comprised of the peripheral nervous system. Okay, CNS and PNS. CNS comprises of the brain and spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system, it comprises of all the nerves. Okay, nerve fibers. So the nerve fibers, it is of two types. First is afferent fibers and second is efferent fibers. Okay, two types of nerve fibers in the peripheral nervous system. There are two types of nerve fibers in the peripheral nervous system. One is afferent fibers and one is efferent fibers. Okay, this one. Here it is given, afferent and efferent. So afferent fibers, the nerve fibers, all of you know, nerve fibers transmit signals, right? Nerve fibers or neurons, it transmits signals from one part of the body to another, right? So transmission of signal takes place. Okay, nerve signals, nervous signals. So those they transmit actually impulses in the form of, or impulses or signals in the form of electrical impulse. Okay, they send electrical impulse, and that is why they are so, what to say, they are so fast. Okay, they are so fast because they are electrical impulses or electrical signals. So afferent fibers, they transmit signals from the organs, the various organs in a body, to the central nervous system, that is the brain or the spinal cord. Okay, the afferent fibers. And the efferent fibers, they do the opposite. That is, they send signals from the brain to the other tissues and organs. Okay, for example, like when you are touching a hot object, for example, you are touching a hot object. So the hot, you find hot, right? So the hand cannot, what to say, your hand is touching the object and your hand cannot sense the hotness of that object. Okay, that is sensed by the brain. So what happens, the hand, it sends signals to the brain. So the signals that is what is transmitted to the brain is transmitted through the afferent nerve fibers. Okay, so afferent nerve fibers, they transmit signals from the tissues and organs to the central nervous system. Like you are touching a hot object, then that signal will transmit from your hand to the brain by the afferent nerve fibers. Is it clear? And then what will happen? The brain will send signals to your hand to remove your hand from the hot object. Otherwise, you'll burn your hand. Right? So that the signal that will come from the brain to your hand, that signal will come through the efferent fibers. Okay, that is written here. From the central nervous system. From the central nervous system is the brain or spinal cord, right? From the central nervous system to the tissues and organs. That is through the efferent fibers. Okay, so just imagine you are touching a hot thing and you are suddenly withdrawing your hand, right? So that is the afferent and efferent fibers difference. Okay, afferent fibers, they send signals from the tissues and organs to the central nervous system, and the efferent fibers, they send signals from the central nervous system to the tissues. Okay, it is the opposite. So now the human neural system or human nervous system, it comprises of two parts, that is CNS and PNS. CNS, it comprises of brain and spinal cord, and PNS, it comprises of all the nerves that are in our body, right? All the nerves that are associated with the brain and spinal cord. All the nerves obviously will be associated with the brain, right? So all the nerves that are present in the body, all the nerves or the neurons that are present in the body, those comprises of the peripheral nervous system or the PNS. Okay, so in the PNS there are two types of nerve fibers. One is afferent and one is efferent. Afferent, it relays signals from the tissues or the organs to the central nervous system, and the efferent, it relays signals from the central nervous system to the tissues and organs. Okay, it is the opposite. So I hope you understood about the CNS and PNS. These are the two parts of the human neural system or human nervous system. Now we need to learn a little bit about the neurons. Why neurons? Because the neurons, it plays a the most important role in the neural system or the nervous system of human beings. Okay, in human neural system, the neurons, it plays a major role. It plays the most important role. That is to relay signals from one part of the body to the another. Okay, it relays signals. So yes, I have written it point wise so that it will be easy for you people to remember stuff. Okay, so neuron, it is the structural and functional unit of neural system. So for cell, we say like, for what is a cell? Cell is the structural and functional unit of living things, right? Means without the cell there will be no living things. Same way, neurons these neurons, they are the structural and functional unit of neural system. So without the neurons, there will be no neural system. Without the neurons, there will be no electrical impulses uh, like sent from one place to another, right? Even your even if you are touching a hot object, your body will not, your hand will not withdraw itself from the hot object, and you will burn yourself, right? So your body will not have that nervous impulse. Okay, impulse will not be there without the help of the neurons. That is why it is known as the structural and functional unit of neural system. Okay, and the neurons, they have three parts. The neurons, they have three parts. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, so the neurons, it has the cell body, then the axon is there, and then the dendrite is there. Okay, cell body, axon, and dendrite. Okay, three parts. That is, this one is the cell body, this is the cell body, this is the structure of a neuron. This structure of the neuron, you have studied it from like your school only. Okay, this structure, this is very important. You have to learn to draw this one. This is also required in your earlier school itself. Okay. So the neuron, it comprises of three parts. That is, one is cell body. This is known as the cell body. Then there is axon, and these branches, these are known as the dendrites. Okay. These are dendrites. This is the cell body, and this long stalk, this is the axon. Okay. So they have many branches, right? This is the nucleus. In a cell, there will be a nucleus. This is also a cell. Okay. The neuron, this is also a cell. This is a nerve cell. Ah, okay. This is a nerve cell. Okay. This is also a cell. The neuron is also a cell. That's why it will have a nucleus. All cells have a nucleus. Only the RBC, it does not have a nucleus, right? The red blood cells of the blood, it does not have a nucleus. But all the other cells, they have a nucleus. So the this neuron or the nerve cell, they have a nucleus. This is the nucleus, and this is the cell body. This portion is the cell body. Then these are the dendrites, all these branches, these are the dendrites. And then there is uh, this Nissl granules, right? So what are these Nissl granules? These are small fragments that are found in the cytoplasm. Okay, cytoplasm is a jelly-like material. It is found inside the cell, right? So there will be cytoplasm inside this cell also, this cell body also. So the inside the in the cytoplasm there will be little small fragments or small granules. Those granules are known as Nissl granules. Okay, so these granules are present, and then there is this axon which ends in this axon terminals. Okay, this portion, that is this what to say, this, it seems to be like root, right, it is sort of a root. So this portion, this is known as the axon terminal. This long thing is the axon, and this is the axon terminal. And this round this bulb like things, this is known as the synaptic knob. Okay, and now this coverings on top of the axon, you can see, right, this coverings on top of this axon, this is known as the myelin sheath. Okay, this coverings on top of the axon, this is known as the myelin sheath, and this is this blackish portion, this is known as Schwann cell. This is a small cell that is known as Schwann cell. Okay, this one, Schwann cell. And the myelin sheath, it is formed by the Schwann cells. Okay, the Schwann cells are responsible for the formation of the myelin sheath. Okay, so if it is asked where the myelin sheaths come from, you have to write from the Schwann cells. The Schwann cells forms myelin sheaths. Okay, this is the Schwann cells and these are the myelin sheaths that cover the axon. And the portion of the axon which is not covered by the myelin sheaths, the in between this portion, this is known as node of Ranvier. Okay, this portion where it is not covered by the myelin sheaths, this portion, this is known as the nodes of Ranvier. And why it, now we'll ask, like, why this axon needs to be covered by the myelin sheaths? Why it needs to be covered by the myelin sheaths? So this myelin sheath, it will act as an insulator. Conductor and insulator, all of you know of electricity. I told, like, the nerve cells or the neurons, they transmit nerve impulses, right? Nerve impulses or electrical impulses. Electricity is passed, right? Electricity is passed. So, like, water is a bad conductor of electricity, right? Water is a bad conductor of electricity. So, if you that is why if you like touch a switch with your wet hand, you have chances of getting shock. So the water is a conductor of electricity. Okay, but plastic is an insulator of electricity. Plastic is not a conductor of electricity, and that is why those boards, the switch boards and the switch are made of plastic. Okay, otherwise if it is made of some, what to say, conductor of electricity, let's take iron. Okay, if it is made of iron and other stuff, so whenever you'll go to touch a switch, give a switch on something, you'll get a shock. That is why it is made of plastic is an insulator of electricity. Okay, same way this myelin sheaths, they are insulators of electricity. Okay, so this myelin sheaths are act as insulators of electricity. So I hope you have understood the structure of the what to say, the neuron. It is, the cell body is there. Inside the cell body there is the nucleus, and then there is myelin sheaths, which is formed by the Schwann cells. This is the axon. The myelin sheaths cover up the axon, and the portion which is not covered by myelin sheaths, this is known as the nodes of Ranvier. Okay, and these are the dendrites. Okay. Now there are different types of neuron. Okay, there are different types of neuron. Okay, there are different types of neurons based on different things. Okay, so like based on the presence of myelin sheaths, so some neurons, they will not have myelin sheath. Okay, some neurons will not have myelin sheaths. So the neurons which will not have myelin sheaths will be known as non-myelinated neurons or unmyelinated neurons. Okay, non-myelinated or unmyelinated neurons. And this one, the diagram here, this is a myelinated neuron because there is myelin sheath present. Okay, so based on the presence of myelin sheath, presence or absence of myelin sheath, the neurons, there are two types. One is myelinated and one is non-myelinated or unmyelinated. If the myelin sheaths are present, then it is myelinated, such as this one. And if these myelin sheaths are not present, then it is non-myelinated or unmyelinated. Okay, then there is this one, based on number of axon and dendrites. Okay, based on the number of axon and dendrites, the what to say, the neurons, it is of three types. Okay, let me give this one. I forgot to give a comma here. Okay, multipolar, bipolar, and unipolar. Okay, multipolar, bipolar and unipolar. So multipolar will have one axon but many dendrites. Bipolar will have one dendrite and one axon, and unipolar will have only axon, okay, and cell body. There will be no dendrites. For unipolar, there will be no dendrites. Okay, bipolar will have one dendrite and one axon, and multipolar will have one axon and several dendrites. So what is it? What is this one? This diagram? What is this diagram? What type of uh, axon is? What type of neuron is this one? What type of neuron is this diagram? Hmm? Do you listen while I explain? What type of neuron is this one? Is it a multipolar? Is it a bipolar? Or is it unipolar? Don't know. What did I say now? Like if there are many neurons, if there are many dendrites and one axon, then it is multipolar. If there are one dendrite and one axon, it is bipolar. If there are no dendrites and only one axon, it is unipolar. So what type of neuron is this one? Leave it. Then there are, it's useless explaining you people. I'll spend all my energy here, and no need of texting. Okay, you have your mouth, you can speak. I'm not going to go through the messages. Based on function also, there are three types. There is sensory, motor, and mixed. Mixed does all the functions. That is sensory function also, motor function also, and sensory. It has it what to say? Sensory neurons. It relays messages from the tissues to the CNS, and the motor neurons. It relays messages from the spinal cord or the CNS, that is the brain and spinal cord, to the other tissues or organs. And the mixed neurons, they do both. They can take messages from the sense organs to the uh, sense organs to the brain also, and from the brain to the sense organs, both. Okay, so this is all about the neurons. So maybe the portion is left. I have not included. No, I haven't. This is not acceptable. Okay, for one class I have stopped taking class because no one speaks. I have stopped taking class for them. I think I'll have to do the same for you people. Like here, many students are there. For like above 50, 60, 70, 80 people are there. Only 25 have attended the class, and out of this 25 also, no one speaks, not even the CRs. You may be wrong, no worries. You may be wrong. It's not like you have to speak always the correct answer. Can you see this reflex action? Can you see this page?
Yes, ma'am.
So the structure of neuron, this is done. Okay. Now about reflex action and reflex arc. So what is reflex action? This is the definition for reflex action. So what is reflex action? So sometime earlier I have explained about touching a hot object, right? Touching a hot object and withdrawing your hand. So this uh, reflex action, it is an involuntary action. Okay, what is involuntary and what is voluntary? This reflex action, it is involuntary. So what is involuntary and what is voluntary? Involuntary means you are doing that particular thing without your complete consciousness. Okay, you are not planning and doing it. Okay, and voluntary means you are voluntarily doing something. Okay, so like you're walking, right? You're voluntarily doing that. Your muscles are voluntarily working. You're looking at someone, your muscles are voluntarily doing that. You're moving your head and all. But for example, if I if someone throws a thing at you, like you're standing it looking a certain direction, and you some person he or she threw a like sharp object at you, right? You will move, right? Will automatically move without even thinking what is coming and what is going to happen. You will not think about all those. If you start thinking about all those, that object will hit you. Okay, but without thinking about anything, just seeing something coming towards you, you will move, right? So that is involuntary, means you are doing it not with full consciousness, without any effort, without any conscious effort. Okay, without the knowledge. Okay, so that is known as reflex action. Okay, that is involuntary and that is known as reflex action, because that is the action which takes place without your conscious effort, or that action, it is involuntary. Involuntary means without your conscious effort and without what to say, without thinking and thinking twice and doing stuff. Because if you do that, it'll take more time, and within that time you will be hit by that object. Or for example, um, if you are touching something hot, you withdraw your hand immediately. You don't take time to think that yes, this is hot and I need to withdraw my hand. No, so you withdraw your hand immediately. Like if some fly comes and like near your eye, some fly or some dust particles or whatever it is, it comes near your eyes, you shut your eyes within no time, right? Within seconds. So the uh, that is reflex action. So whenever you see something like so hot, or whether you touch something that is hot or cold, sometimes, oh yes, it is cold also, then some like pointed objects, if you touch it, right? Pointed objects, if you touch it, and then if you see something scary, some, for example, you're sleeping and if you see a snake by your side, what will you do? You just stand up and run, right? Or you will just shout, right? That is that reaction, or that reaction, the in your what to say, the reaction that takes place in your body, that is known as a reflex action. Okay, so this is the definition for reflex action. Now what is a reflex arc? Reflex action, all of you have experienced in your whole life. You have seen it, and I hope you have understood it. Now, what is reflex arc? Please, everyone, just give your attendance, okay? I don't have to sleep again and again. And don't give multiple times. Just once. Give your attendance. So, what is a reflex arc? So, reflex arc is the is the pathway, is the nerve pathway in by which the reflex action takes place. Right? Like, see, if you are touching something hot, the nerve endings at the end of your hand or at the end of your fingers, they will send signals to your brain, right? And then the brain will signal your hand to remove your finger from that hot object, right? So whatever that is happening from that nerve signal coming to your brain, then again it gives signals to your hand to remove it. That is the nerve pathway. That is known as the reflex arc. Okay, that is known as the reflex arc. The reflex action, it means it is involuntary. Why it is involuntary? Involuntary means you are not doing without your complete full consciousness. Okay, you are not doing it purposely. Okay, it happens. Okay, you are not doing it uh, having some purpose in your mind. It happens. That is why it is known as involuntary. Involuntary is you are doing it by your own will. So, as a volunteer, I have heard of volunteer in some programs. There are volunteers. So, what is the function of that volunteer? What does that volunteer do? The volunteer, they what to say? They volunteer themselves for doing certain work. No one is asking them to, but they volunteers themselves. Right? They volunteers themselves. They give themselves to that. They dedicate themselves to that particular thing. But involuntary is you have not planned it. You don't know that something is coming, and it is the sudden and what to say sudden reaction of your body to some stimulus. Okay, to some stimulus, there is certain sudden reaction to your body. Okay, so you are walking by the road, some car is coming towards you to hit you, you will run, right? So if you are walking, like if you are in the woods, if you see a leech in your feet, what will you do? You'll jump. Or if someone throws a sudden sharp object towards you, you will move apart, right? So all those things are done without consciousness, and it is an involuntary. It is involuntary because it is done without consciousness and without any effort or any thought. Okay, so this is all about reflex action and reflex arc. Okay, so any doubts from this portion, please ask. Any doubts from this chapter? Next, we will study about the sense organs. It is sense organs are actually included in the this chapter only, but in your syllabus, I don't know why it is included separately in a separate chapter. I don't know why, but it is given as a separate chapter. But generally, the sense organs it is the same chapter. It is the same chapter as in the book. If you have gone through the book that I have given you, that NCERT book, so in that book, the sense organs will be included in this neural control and coordination only. Okay, the sense organs. But in the syllabus, it is given as a separate chapter. So that one we will discuss the next class. That is, I think it's tomorrow. Any doubts from this chapter, you can ask. I will give your notes today? Okay, I'll assume you don't have any doubts. So, thank you. Try to speak some next time on that.